Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lana and today we discuss celebrities, news and drink a lot of coffee. Let's go! Guys, today I would like to discuss my lawsuits, and some of the lawsuits include local celebrities, local well-known places, a little bit of what I'm doing in my spare time when I'm not busy with my family or this channel. My first case is against Plaza Hotel, and that they did not provide me safety on the premises. When I became famous for 15 minutes of my fame came when I was abused by former governor of New York, Elliot Spitzer, at Plaza Hotel on February 13, 2016. And lots of newspapers and channels had discussed this news, but I flew back to Russia the same night and nobody even asked me anything in regards to what really happened. I was accused in extortion later on by this governor, and I was 1 year in jail without accepting a guilty plea in regards to this case. However, my case is not about former New York governor in civil court. It is against Plaza Hotel. So when I was abused by Elliot Spitzer, I was actually wearing a ripped off pajama. I was bleeding. I was shaking because I was very stressed. I cried and my face was swollen with visible tears, and I did not have shoes on. So imagine this girl standing in the lobby of five-star hotel at Plaza Hotel at the night before St. Valentine's Day in front of the elevators. I was standing there about 10 minutes and nobody approached me because they knew that I was staying with former New York Governor Elliot Spitzer, who is famous for his abusive behavior towards women. I did not have a key to the elevator, so once you trying to enter the floor by the elevator, you must put the key of the room in the elevator and then press the button. I did not have a room key. So this is the first issue, that I was standing there without any help from staff members. And there were so many of them. The managers passing by, the doorman, the lobby, and all of these people were just looking at me, looking at the woman who was just shaking, crying, and just literally looking very disturbed. So this is my case against Plaza Hotel. And also I would like to invite Spitzer and question him, because he claimed through his lawyers and through his media strategist and PR manager Lisa Linden that he was there to help me because I was so emotionally disturbed. Yes, you know, after several hours of beating, of threats of just severe beating, of course I was emotionally disturbed. But he claims that he was there to help me. And I'm just curious, if he was there to help me, what the hell? He was in the hotel room. If he was there for me and helping me, why he didn't step out and follow me and try to find me? Why he was there in the hotel room? So when I came back to the floor with a plan to say that I already complained to the management, which I did not because I was so scared. I was so scared actually because of him having so much money and power over anybody and any business in this state. I did not even approach anybody, but for sure I looked not normal, standing in five-star Plaza Hotel, shoeless, in ripped off pajama, bleeding, crying, shaking, and face swollen like beaten. So when I came upstairs, there was already police, so they questioned him, started to question me, and he said, "Do you want me to call Bill? Do you know who I am?" Bill Branton, that former New York Police Department head officer and huge figure. So my question, so if you were there, Spitzer, to help me, why were you in the hotel room? So if you're really coming to help either to a friend or to a person you really care, you possibly follow this person if you're really there for caring, right? Some misunderstanding. All right, so this is my case against Plaza Hotel. Another case is for defamation against Spitzer's lawyers, Adam Kaufman. Adam Kaufman, I did not Google him until now, and it looks like he belongs to this huge group of politicians, of lawmakers, of just a big group of white Jewish people, just as corrupt as Spitzer, and who is also was in the case of subpoenaing Trump documents, and he was involved in this huge case with Trump, and he was involved in covering the case with Spitzer. He even put it on his website that he was involved with the case of exonerating Spitzer's public image and exonerated him from criminal prosecution. And so the extortionist, which was me by his terms, would be prosecuted. I mean, he means jailed. During the years, he was doing his best with the media strategist Lisa Linden, who was with Spitzer's team for 25 years and trying to build his public image, even though his public image is suffering as hell know how much, but they're still trying to do their best. So he was with her, accusing me in extortion, in all these things, and actually presenting me as a not a legitimate person to believe in the first place, trying to dismiss the claim. We need to dismiss this claim as this is not a legitimate person, that she's, you know, an extortionist, blah, blah, blah. But you know what, Kaufman? I have more evidence than you think I have. You don't know what kind of evidence I have, right, Kaufman? You were saying to judge, oh, I read all of her emails. I listened to all of her voice messages, right? Oh, you know, I heard that too. But you don't know, Kaufman, what kind of evidence I have. I'm on my way to find and to hire another aggressive group of lawyers who are going to just tear you apart with all of your group of corrupted politicians as middlemen, as you, Kaufman, as you, Spitzer, as you, Cyrus Vance. But you know, Vance is just there for another case of mine in court, in Supreme Court, against Bank of America. Bank of America was subpoenaed by Bronx Department in May 2016. They actually were subpoenaed for my bank statements from March 2016, but for some reason Bank of America gave Bronx Department all of my bank statements for 10 years of history being their client. And I'm just questioning, why? Why did you give what was not asked? I'm just wondering, why? So if you're a client of Bank of America and you think this is a trustable bank, no. Whenever there is a case against you, they are going to give and release everything that was not even asked about. Another reason is that when I was in Russia, Spitzer told me he wires me money internationally. And I believed it, as my bank card, my phones, and all of the belongings were after Plaza Hotel incident. After this abuse, they were held as evidence at some police department. So imagine, all of the things were brought to police safekeeping. Somehow my card was in Spitzer's possession. And now what he did, he actually, instead of wiring me money, he put checks, he wrote checks under his name, and he signed it as it was me signing these checks. He deposited the checks. He then logged into my online banking from the saved contacts and wired wired money that I wired before, he used the same saved information and he wired it through my account. Really? So they used forged signatures at Bronx to prosecute me in extortion. That's first. But this is not a question about Bronx yet. This is a question about Bank of America. I was their client for so many years, and I have the same signature, one simple signature, just one drawing of simple thing. And when Spitzer started to deposit checks in my account, it was clearly not my signature. He made up new signatures every time he deposited a new check. So my question, how come you even accepted the checks? How come? And okay, possibly there are so many checks that going through the system of Bank of America, but they were subpoenaed by Bronx Department to release new information from my account to them on regular basis. So whenever new information as the new check coming in to my account, they must release it to them. Whenever a new statement, any change in my account, they must release it to Bronx. All right, so somebody is following my account. They see that Spitzer deposits in the check. Okay, but they also see that the signature is not mine. So how come they could accept the check as a bank if this is nonsense? This is nonsense. They immediately sided with a former politician, with a billionaire. And there was one girl who was in Russia who did not even have access to her bank online banking, to her statements. In order for me to have this access to my online banking, I had to have a special code sent to my phone number, but my phone numbers were taken by police. So I did not even have access to my bank. So can you please explain how come this is happening? This is because political corruption. Yes, yes. All right, another case is against Spitzer for forging my signatures for this kind of criminal case against me, saying I was extorting him. Okay, and in this case, okay, so we see this is clear evidence. So he is forging signatures. He is depositing this forged document into my account, okay? But, and he also said I extorted the money. That means when I was arrested, these were charges as a thief, grand larceny, like I stole his money. But let me subpoena his tax return. Yes, isn't tax return he actually noted that this money was stolen? Let me know, Spitzer, because whoever steals from you, you must report it in the IRS. IRS is not sleeping. Did you report that for so many years somebody just steals money from you? You, Spitzer. Okay, next. Okay, another claim is for New York Times. You know, when I was, first of all, after severe abuse and losing my child due to this abuse, I was in kind of in between of sky and earth, and I was not myself. I was very depressed, emotionally disturbed, and so on. Then I was arrested and I was in jail. After jail, it was another time when I was not myself. And I tried to get on my feet for a few years. And this is why it took so much time for me to get back to this lawsuit that I'm doing now, as pro se, without a lawyer. So, and for defamation, I cannot sue anybody if it was longer than 1 year. So as for New York Times, I cannot, sue them for defamation. But I sue them for breach of contract. So, I did not have a chance to read these articles until I got a paid subscription. This year I got a paid subscription. It was about $4, but you know, I did not even care before what they write about me. This year I started to care and I started to investigate on my own. So this great independent journalism newspaper claimed that they were trying to reach me, but they couldn't find me. And however, an article before, they claimed that Spitzer's lawyer, Adam Kaufman, presented them with an email stating that, you know, I lied and this report was all fake. This was actually written when Spitzer threatened me with death and killing my family members. But these death threats, New York Times did not write about. However, they used this email to show the public, okay, she lied, she's a liar, she's this and that, and she's not a legitimate person to believe to, and she will be later accused in extortion. But when I subscribed to New York Times, I actually subscribed for independent journalism. Independent journalism is not only a one-side story. So I asked them to modify the story, but they did not answer me. Yes, they did not answer me this well-established independent journalism newspaper. No, they did not answer me. I wrote them letters, I wrote them emails. No, they did not bother to answer me. Well, but to me as a consumer, this is not an independent journalism, and this is where they breached a contract with me. Because yes, I subscribed to read independent journalism, and oops, I found articles about myself that do not represent independent journalism. Oh my gosh. So another case which I have with lawyer Adam Miller. This lawyer was as well Kaufman's friend. He was as well Spitzer's friend, and I didn't know that. He was hired to me by Spitzer, and he was paid $8,000 and something 94 cents. And imagine, when Spitzer paid to Miller, he even put 94 cents. You know, when I pay my Con Edison bills, and it's not because I had poor English or, you know, I just don't bother to put cents. Whenever I try to make it even number. Like if it's $194.99, I just put $195. This is not a problem. Oh, $200, which is much easier, right? But Spitzer, a billionaire, former politician, and just the billionaire, he puts 94 cents when paying for the lawyer. This just describes his personality. Also, Spitzer used government funds to pay for hotels where he rented 2 rooms for him and the girl who will he enjoy with after, you know, all the political parties. So he does not want to pay himself. He wants to pay via government funds for his pleasure. This just describes his character. All right, so against Miller. So yeah, Miller was hired to me by Spitzer. He was hired just to get my belongings from Plaza Hotel, and all of a sudden, I did not understand when. He did not send me any emails, he did not send me anything which would describe that our client-attorney relationships ended, which would let me at least find another lawyer who would actually get my belongings from Plaza and my documents and all of these valuable things that I had. No, he did not send anything, and I actually still thought that he will be the one who going to get my things. Otherwise, I would just give it to my lawyer. At that time, I did not know he was a friend of Spitzer. Such a naive girl. But how come he breached a contract between me, a client, and attorney? And yes, This is my other lawsuit against him, where I sue him for $50,000. So this is a price for my belongings, for all these green cards, documents, and all of the things that it led to spend extra money for retrieving them and so on. So another lawsuit is against the Capitol building. You know, 1 year gap was opened on November 24th, when all the victims of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, rape, and so on were eligible to sue their predators within 1 year in New York State. And they are also eligible to sue the premises, the buildings where it happened. And in the Child Survivor Act, it referred to churches. But in Adult Survivor Act, I think it refers to the building. Well, if I'm wrong, the court can always correct me or dismiss my case or whatever. So I included that. In 2015, after selling his building for $1.7 billion, Spitzer came to me when I was living with his other friend, girlfriend, I don't know who she was for him, lover, abused woman. Anyways, I did not have my own place to live. I lived with Kristen. Kristen lived in Washington, D.C., and she also worked there. Spitzer came unannounced. I did not know he's coming. He didn't call me. He didn't. So it was a dormant building, and most of the doormen were black. And I think that when a black man sees a white man come into the building, white middle-aged man, he's not gonna question him. He thinks that, okay, this man possibly lives here. And Spitzer was, you know, wearing this hat and heavy scarf and like a jacket, so he was not recognizable as former governor. So Spitzer used this for entering the building. Once he entered the building, he was not asked where he's going to. I was not called through the doorman, through the intercom, if I'm going to accept this guest or not. Kristen also did not know she was a primary tenant, and I thought that they at least should call her or notify her of possible guests. I was there laying, just chilling. I did not expect him to come. He came over. He, of course, wanted to have sex, which I refused. Then he asked if I have a friend who would like to join him in this apartment, and I also had a friend who was, you know, very short on money, and she needed to pay rent, and she just didn't mind entertain Spitzer for just a little bit of cash. Let's just put it this way. So once my friend Lana Martin, yes, it was her stage name, as she is a performer, she came to Kristen's place. Spitzer sent her back to get sex toys for his anal play. And she came back to her apartment, she brought the toys, she kind of performed these activities on him with the toys and giving him and having sex with him. But it was not enough for him, and once she left, he actually had sex with me. And if doorman would notify me that he is coming, I would of course run away through the stairs. But doorman did not notify me. No, he did not notify Kristen, because next morning when I complained to Kristen, she actually was furious. She actually threw me out of her apartment. She told me that I had to call her. I had to ask her to come from Washington to be with him. And I said, well, I said something like, well, it's about 3 hours by the train. It's so long for you to come. And I for sure don't want to be with him within this 2-3 hours together. She said something like, oh, I would just get a cab. And she would cry and she would just curse Spitzer, and she would call me back and she would curse me. And then she said, well, I have to go. and blah blah blah. But you know, this was just nonsense to me. I thought I'm going to save poor girl Kristen from this abusive man, but she actually liked it. And I didn't know that she liked it. I didn't know that she liked to have anal sex without silicone. He didn't even spit in her. And he just did anal sex with Kristen without any silicone. Then he, of course, abused her, and I saw that too. But apparently she liked it. I was surprised. So I'm suing Capitol Building for negligence for lack of safety on the premises, because it's a building where apartments start at $5,000 per one bedroom. Not even five, if it's $5,500 per one bedroom. And what are you getting for this $5,500? Just a lazy doorman who just sits there and does nothing? Okay, give me a break. Yes, this is what they say. Give me a break. Another lawsuit is coming for Daily Mail. They accuse me in being a prostitute, and I'm saying that I am not. Actually curious what kind of evidence they want to bring to the court, but I'm ready to fight any evidence because it did not happen. So please do your business, and I'm just gonna do my business. They offered me to withdraw my claim and to withdraw my other lawsuit against New York Post, where I won that I was not doing prostitution and I did not engage in these activities and blah blah blah. But they wanted me to actually withdraw my case. And you know what I want to do? No, I don't want to do this. All right, another case is against Latin Times for the same reason. And one more case will be against Spitzer, but this will going to be discussed later on. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Thank you for your attention. This is what I'm doing in my life besides already many interesting things that going on. So I'm still seeking justice. Please help me with an advice if you feel you can, and just comment anything you want below. I would love to read your comments. Thank you so much, and let's fight for justice together. Bye.